Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Learning Lab, where English is easy and enjoyable. I'm James.
And I'm Jenny, and we are so happy you are here with us today, seriously. Whether you are listening on YouTube, on a podcast app, on your phone while you cook dinner, or maybe while you are sitting on a bus right now, we see you, we love you, and we are so glad you pressed play.
Yes, and hey, if you are new here, hello. Welcome to the family. This channel is all about helping you practice your English in a fun, relaxed, and natural way. No boring grammar lessons, no scary tests, just two people talking and you learning along the way. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it right now. Just look for that subscribe button, click it, and you are officially part of the Learning Lab family. We would love to have you.
And for everyone who has been here since day one, oh my goodness, we are on day 18. Can you believe that? We are almost at day 20.
I know. It feels like just yesterday we were doing day one and I was so nervous and Jenny kept telling me to stop saying every 5 seconds.
You are saying like it was your job, James, like professionally. Hi, welcome to the Learning Lab. It was a lot.
Okay. In my defense, I was a little nervous. But look at us now. Day 18, still going strong. And today's topic is really, really good. I'm actually excited about this one.
Today we are talking about travel. Specifically, we are going to talk about how to describe your travel experiences in English, how to talk about places you visited, how you felt, what you saw, what was amazing, what was maybe not so amazing.
Which definitely happens. Not every trip is perfect, right?
Definitely not. But all of those experiences, the good and the not so good, they give us so much wonderful vocabulary to learn and practice. So today's episode is going to be full of real English phrases and expressions that you can actually use when you talk about your travels.
And the best part, we are going to use the shadowing method. So that means as you listen, we want you to repeat what we say. Follow our rhythm, copy our pronunciation, feel the words in your mouth. That's what shadowing is all about.
Exactly. You're not just listening, you are practicing. And by the end of this episode, you should feel much more confident talking about travel in English. Okay, James, I think we should just dive right in.
Let's go. Okay, so Jenny, let me ask you a simple question to get us started. Have you ever been on a trip that you will never forget?
Oh, wow. Yes, absolutely yes. I mean, how do I put this? There is one trip that changed my life a little bit, I think. I went to Japan a few years ago, and honestly, it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. Everything was just so different and wonderful at the same time.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so notice what Jenny just did. She used the phrase, one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. That is a really powerful phrase. Say it with me, everyone. One of the most beautiful experiences of my life. It tells people that this trip meant a lot to you. It wasn't just nice or okay. It was something really special.
Right, and you can change it very easily. You can say one of the most exciting trips of my life, or one of the most delicious food experiences of my life, which is also Japan, honestly. The food was unbelievable.
I feel like every story about Japan ends with the food. Every single time. Someone says, I went to Japan, and then 10 minutes later, and the ramen. Oh my goodness, the ramen.
Because it is true, James. The ramen is life-changing. But okay, yes, let's talk about you. What about you? Tell us about a trip you remember well.
Okay, so for me, I went to Thailand a few years ago, and I remember stepping off the plane and feeling the heat hit me like a wall. It was so hot. I mean, I grew up somewhere cold, so this was a big shock to me. But I loved it. I remember looking around and thinking, wow, I'm really far from home right now. And that feeling was just incredible.
I love that you said the heat hit me like a wall. That is such a great expression. It means something happened very suddenly and very strongly. You felt it all at once, bam, like a wall.
Exactly. And this is a really useful phrase for talking about weather or smells or sounds when you arrive somewhere new. You can say, the smell hit me like a wall, or the noise hit me like a wall. It's very descriptive and very natural sounding in English.
Let's practice that together. Ready, everyone? Say it after us. The heat hit me like a wall. Good. One more time. The heat hit me like a wall. Perfect.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's keep going. Jenny, can you describe what Japan looked like? Like, what were your first impressions when you arrived?
My first impression. Okay, so I landed in Tokyo, and the first thing I noticed was how clean everything was. I mean, the streets, the train stations, everything was spotless. And I remember thinking, wow, this is nothing like what I expected. I had an idea in my head of what it would be like, and the reality was completely different, but in the best way.
Oh, that is so relatable. The phrase, nothing like what I expected, is so useful when you're talking about travel, because sometimes places surprise you, right? In good ways and in bad ways.
Yes, and I think one of the most honest things you can say when you travel is, it was different from what I imagined. It's not negative, it's just real. Travel almost always surprises you.
100%. So let's add that phrase to our list. It was nothing like what I expected. Or you can also say, it was different from what I imagined. Both are great. Both sound natural. Repeat after us, everyone. It was nothing like what I expected.
Great. Now, James, let's go a little deeper. Can you tell us about a moment during your Thailand trip that really stayed with you, like a moment you still think about?
Oh, yes. Okay, so there was one evening, I was in a city called Chiang Mai, and I went to a floating lantern festival at night. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Watching hundreds of glowing lanterns rise up slowly into the dark sky was one of the most magical things I have ever seen in my life. I actually had tears in my eyes. I don't even cry at movies. But there I was, standing in a field in Thailand, crying.
Oh, James, that is so sweet. You big softy.
I know. But I think that's the thing about travel. Sometimes it moves you in a way you don't expect. You stand somewhere and you feel something so big that your emotions they just come out.
And notice the language James used there. It was one of the most magical things I have ever seen in my life. That phrase, the most adjective thing I have ever, past participle, is a really powerful structure. You can use it for so many things. It was the most delicious food I have ever eaten, or it was the most difficult hike I have ever done.
Yes, it's a superlative structure, and it tells people that this experience beats everything you've done before in that category. It's at the top of your list. So let's practice. Everyone say this with us. It was one of the most magical things I have ever seen.
Perfect. Okay, I want to take a moment here and think about this because I think it's important for our listeners. When you travel, you have so many emotions, and in English, we have a lot of words to describe those feelings. Let's go through some of them together.
Oh, I love this. Okay, yes, let's do it. So first, when you arrive somewhere new and feel a mix of nervous but excited at the same time, you can say, I felt nervous but excited. Or, even better, in English, there is actually a word that means nervous and excited at the same time. Anxious in a casual way, but the best word is actually excited with a little bit of nerves. Some people also say, I had butterflies in my stomach.
I had butterflies in my stomach. I love that one. It means you felt a kind of fluttery, nervous feeling inside, usually because you were excited or a little scared. Say it with us. I had butterflies in my stomach.
And it's such a fun image, right? Like, imagine actual butterflies flying around in there. Okay, another emotion. What about when you see something so beautiful that you just stop and stare? What do you call that? Oh, you say you were amazed or in awe. I was in awe of the view. I was completely amazed by the scenery. The word scenery, by the way, that means the natural landscape around you. The mountains, the rivers, the sky, all of that together is the scenery.
Great word. And what about when something is so good, the food, the hotel, the experience, that it goes beyond your expectations, beyond what you hoped for?
Then you say it blew you away. The food blew me away. Or the hotel completely blew me away. It means it was way better than you thought it would be, like it knocked you off your feet.
I love how many of these English expressions involve physical things happening to your body. The heat hits you like a wall, butterflies fly in your stomach, something blows you away. English is very dramatic.
It really is. English is out here being a whole action movie. But that's actually what makes it fun and interesting to learn, right? The phrases are very visual.
Exactly. Okay, let's practice all three together. Everyone repeat. I was in awe of the view. Good. The food blew me away. Perfect. I had butterflies in my stomach. Wonderful. You are doing great.
Okay, so now I want to talk about something a little different, because not every travel experience is perfect, right? Sometimes things go wrong, and it's actually really important to be able to talk about those moments too, because they're often the funniest stories. Later. Maybe not in the moment.
Definitely not in the moment. Oh no. Okay, I have a story. Can I tell a story?
Please, yes.
Okay, so when I was in Japan, I told you about the beautiful parts, but there was also a moment where I got completely lost. I mean, totally, completely, 100% lost. I was in Tokyo, I was trying to take the subway, and I could not read any of the signs because they were all in Japanese. So I got on a train and I hoped for the best. And I ended up in a neighborhood that was nowhere near where I wanted to go. I was lost for about 2 hours.
Oh, no. What did you do?
I just kept walking and asking people for help, but my Japanese was basically zero, so I was pointing at my phone and smiling a lot and hoping someone would understand. And finally, a very kind man, he could see I was confused. He actually walked me all the way to the right subway station himself. He didn't have to do that at all.
Oh, that is so kind. I love when travel stories have moments like that, where a stranger helps you and you remember it forever.
Right? And I think that's something really special about travel. You meet these small moments of kindness from complete strangers, and they stay with you.
So there are some great phrases hiding in Jenny's story. Did you notice? She said, I hoped for the best. That means you did something even though you weren't sure it would work out, and you just stayed positive. I hoped for the best. Repeat that with me, everyone. I hoped for the best.
And also, he didn't have to do that at all. This is a phrase we use when we want to show gratitude and surprise. Someone did something kind that was not required, not their job, and we appreciate it deeply. She didn't have to do that at all. It's a really warm and natural thing to say.
I love that phrase. Okay, let's keep going with travel vocabulary. Jenny, let's talk about food for a second, because food is such a big part of travel, and we need good words for it.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so when food is really, really delicious, you can say it was delicious, obviously, but there are other great words too. You can say it was incredible. The food was incredible. You can say it was out of this world, which means it was so good it seemed almost unreal. The pasta was out of this world.
Or you can say something melted in your mouth. That means it was so soft and perfectly cooked that it basically dissolved the moment you ate it. It's a beautiful expression, especially for meat or desserts.
And if food was unexpectedly good, meaning you didn't think you would like it, but then you loved it, you say it surprised you. I didn't think I would like it, but it completely surprised me.
Yes, or you can say, I didn't expect to like it, but it was absolutely delicious. That is a really honest and relatable thing to say, and people will laugh and relate to it immediately.
Let's practice a few of these together. Everyone say, the food was out of this world. Good. Now, it melted in my mouth. Beautiful. And one more, I didn't expect to like it, but it was absolutely delicious. Excellent. You are really building your travel vocabulary today.
Okay, I want to do something fun now. Let's do a little role play. Jenny, pretend you are asking me about my Thailand trip, like we are friends talking at a coffee shop, and I'll answer using the phrases we've been learning. Listeners, pay close attention and practice shadowing my answers as you hear them.
Ooh, I love this. Okay. James, oh my gosh, you went to Thailand. Tell me everything. What was it like?
Okay. So I went last year, and honestly, it was one of the best trips of my life. The moment I landed, the heat hit me like a wall. I was not ready for it at all. But within a few hours, I was already in love with the energy of the city. Everything was so vibrant and alive.
Oh, I love that. Did you try the food?
The food. Oh, Jenny, the food was out of this world. I tried pad thai from a street cart on my first night, and it completely blew me away. I did not expect street food to be that good, but it melted in my mouth. I was in awe of the flavors.
That sounds amazing. Was there a moment that really stayed with you?
Yes, the Lantern Festival in Chiang Mai. Watching hundreds of glowing lanterns rise into the night sky was one of the most magical things I have ever seen in my life. I actually had tears in my eyes. I'm not even embarrassed about it.
You should not be embarrassed at all. That sounds breathtaking. Was everything perfect, or were there any difficult moments?
Well, there was one moment where I got a little lost in the market, and I hoped for the best. I just kept walking and eventually found my way back. And a local woman helped me find the right street. She didn't have to do that at all, but she did, and it was really touching.
I love that. Okay, listeners, did you catch all of those phrases? Let's count them. James used one of the best trips of my life, hit me like a wall, it was nothing like what I expected, I was in awe of the view, it blew me away, it melted in my mouth, the food was out of this world, it was like something out of a dream, the city was buzzing with life, I had butterflies in my stomach, I hoped for the best. He didn't have to do that at all. It was steeped in history. It was one of the most magical things I have ever seen in my life.
Yes, look at how many beautiful phrases you now have. Aren't you proud of yourself? Because you should be.
Seriously, if you followed along and repeated those phrases, you just did an incredible shadowing practice session. Your pronunciation is getting better, your memory for natural expressions is growing, and your confidence is building every single day.
And that's really the whole point of this challenge, right? We're not just learning words, we're building the habit of speaking English every day. 30 days, one step at a time. And today, you took another step. You should feel good about that.
Now, before we go, Janes and I want to do one more thing. We want to give you a little homework challenge for today. And it's not scary, I promise.
Okay, so here's the challenge, and it's actually really fun. We want you to think of a trip or a travel experience you remember. It doesn't have to be a big, faraway trip. It could be a trip to a nearby city, a beach, a market, anything. Even a day trip counts.
And then, either out loud to yourself or in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, describe that trip using at least 3 phrases from today's episode. Just 3. You can say where you went, what surprised you, how you felt, and what you saw.
And if you're writing in the comments, Janes and I will read every single one. We love reading your responses. Seriously, it's our favorite part of the day.
It genuinely is. Some of you write such beautiful and interesting things in the comments, and it makes us so happy to read them. So please share your travel memory with us. We want to hear it.
All right, I think that's a wrap on day 18. Jenny, any final words of wisdom for our listeners before we go?
Final words of wisdom. I think I just want to say travel, whether near or far, is one of the greatest ways to grow as a person. And being able to talk about those experiences in English, to share them, to describe them, to relive them through words, that is such a gift. So keep practicing, keep shadowing, and keep showing up every day. You are doing better than you think.
Oh, I love that. You are doing better than you think. I think a lot of English learners are too hard on themselves. You're making progress every single day, even on the days it doesn't feel like it.
Absolutely. And we will be right here on day 19, ready to practice with you again, so don't go too far.
Yes, don't travel too far without us. Come back tomorrow. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. If you enjoyed the episode, please like it, share it with a friend who is also learning English, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It helps us so much and it means the world to us.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep smiling, and remember, English is easy and enjoyable when you do it every day.
See you on day 19. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.